Dear students, we are going to continue with our discussion of the atomic structure in this lesson, that is atomic structure part 2nd. Now, before we proceed to our next discussions, let us first do a quick recap of what we discussed in our earlier chapter, that was atomic structure part 1. It had been established that the atom consists of a nucleus in the center. Electron, proton and neutron are the atom's fundamental particles, and the electron revolves around the nucleus. So we can visualize the atomic model as this is the nucleus, which consists of a proton and the electron revolves around the nucleus. But this idea had certain anomalies. The first problem with this idea was that the electron is a negatively charged particle. It revolves closely around the nucleus, which consists of positively charged protons. So the electron must get attracted to the positive charge and must be ultimately pulled inside the nucleus. Of course, we know that this does not happen. The solution was to assume that the electron revolves around the nucleus at a very high speed in circular or elliptical paths. Their acceleration is so high that the electrons do not tumble into the nucleus. But according to Maxwell's electromagnetic principle, an accelerated electric charge must radiate energy. Therefore, the electron must be losing its energy continuously. Eventually, it must end up spiraling into the nucleus and the atom should collapse. Of course, we know that this does not happen. The objects around us do not collapse and disappear. The answer to this puzzle was provided by quantum theory. Niels Bohr was one of the inventors of this theory. Niels Bohr. He proposed his own model to explain this anomaly. Let us see what were the main postulates of Bohr's theory. First of all, electrons revolve around the nucleus in definite circular orbits without losing energy. In these circular orbits, their energy is constant. Therefore, these orbits are also known as stationary orbits or stable orbits or permissible orbits. The electrons revolve only in those orbits whose angular momentum is an integral multiple of the factor h upon 2 pi. Now we know that angular momentum is equal to mvr, and according to Bohr's postulate, it is equal to nh upon 2 pi, where n is the number of the orbit and it can assume any integer value such as 1, 2, 3 and so on. M is the mass of the electron, V is its velocity, and R is the radius of the circular orbit. H, hope you remember, is the Planck's constant. Now, according to the third postulate of Bohr's theory, the electrons emit or absorb energy as they jump from one energy level to other. So, if the electron jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level, emission of energy takes place. On the contrary, when electron jumps from lower energy level to higher energy level, absorption of energy takes place. The higher energy level is known as excited state and the lower energy level is called ground state. I hope you remember these terms. We discussed them in atomic structure part 1 while discussing the energy level diagrams of an electron. Let's try to visualize Bohr's atomic model. This is the nucleus and this is the electron, which is revolving around the nucleus in stationary orbits. As long as the electron is revolving in these stationary orbits, there will be no change in its energy. But if it jumps from one energy level to another energy level, as denoted by n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3 and so on, it will either absorb or emit energy. In these orbits, the angular momentum of the electron is a factor of nh upon 2 pi. Bohr was able to derive some very important conclusions from his theory. His conclusions were: the electron could not have just any amount of energy. In fact, it was restricted to have a particular set of energy values which are known as energy levels. Thus, we can say that the energies of the electron were quantized. He proposed a formula for the energy levels, which is En is equal to minus e raised to 4 me divided by 8 epsilon naught square h square n square, where En is the energy of the electron at nth energy level, small e is the charge on electron, m is the mass of electron, epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. It is a measure of how easy it is for the electromagnetic radiations to pass through it. H is the Planck's constant and n is the nth energy level, also known as principal quantum number. Now you must have noticed that the energy values are negative. It means that the energy needs to be given to remove an electron from the atom.